In this video, we're going to discuss the ability to do auto text or variable data into a graphic file in Composer. So to do auto text, you need a graphic element, whether it's a cut box or a Gerber edge decal or whatever it might be. In this case, I just have a simple box. And then you need to tell the system that you would like to do an auto text or a merge. And to do this, you need to create a text denotation. And this text denotation is the ampersand sign and the number 1. And the ampersand sign and the number 1 is going to tell the repeats merge function to go out and look for a particular txt data file that can be merged into the graphics. So I have ampersand 1, and the thing you need to remember is that the way you set up your original template is the way it's going to repeat out. So if I use Helvetica Medium in my template, it'll be Helvetica Medium once it's repeated out. If I use Arial, then it'll use Arial once it's repeated out. If I assign black vinyl to my template, it's going to use black vinyl once it's repeated out. If I assign Gerber edge spot colors or process colors, then it's going to use Gerber edge spot or process colors once it's repeated out. So the way you set up the template is exactly the way that it's going to repeat out. So in this case, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'll select all and just make it all black vinyl. So when I repeat it out, it's going to use all black vinyl. The other thing you also have to be careful of is the justification of your text. So right now I'm using center justify, which is exactly how I want it. And you also have to be careful of the position of your text, because the justification and position will also be repeated out. So I'll do F2 to select all, Shift F9 to get into my justify dialog box, and I'll tell it that I want to center everything. And there I have it. I'm ready to go with my original auto text template. From here, I'm going to select all and go into Tools and then Repeats Merge. And in Repeats Merge, the first thing you always do is set your number of repeats. So I can set my X repeats to be 3 and my Y repeats. I'm going to be careful because I know that if I'm cutting vinyl, that my vinyl cutter has a limit of 13.25, or if it's a 30-inch plotter, maybe 28 and change. So I just have to be careful of my height as I'm setting my Y repeats. So I don't want to go too high, so I'll keep that set to be 3. Next, I'm going to go into Text Merge, and in Text Merge, you need to choose the TXT file that contains the data. And you can, it's a TXT file that's created in Notepad. And I'm going to go here and select the file and describe how it's set up. So I'm going to go into Select File and choose the TXT file that has the data. So I set one up, it's called First Names. And you can also go ahead and edit the file. So I'll click on Edit File here so we can take a look at First Names. And the way you set up the TXT file is that it's just a simple one column of data. So at the very top, because I'm only merging names, I've only set up a single field of data. So I put a number 1 at the very top. 1 denotes the number of fields. Ampersand 1, names, that's all I have, number 1. And then after that, you just put the names one after the other with enter or carriage return after each one of the names. So I have a 1 at the top because I'm only merging one field of data, and then put the names afterwards. Okay, and once you select the file, it tells you the number of records, or basically the number of names in this case, that are in my TXT file. So because I have 31 fields of data, but back here in repeats, I only have 9 repeats. It's only going to give me 9 decals. It's only going to take the first 9 names that are in that TXT file. And from here, I'm just going to click on OK. And there we have my 9 repeats with that data merged in. Now I'm going to double click on this to bring up my reaction dialog box, and I'm going to increase the number of repeats just to show some other scenarios that can occur. So now I'm all the way up to 30, and even if I go to 33, remember back here in my text merge it says I only have 31 records or 31 pieces of data or 31 names. So because I set my repeats to be 33, it's only going to go as far as 31 because that's all the data that I have. So I'll go ahead and go OK. And now we see all of my repeats. But in this case, some of the names are a little bit longer than what I've allowed for in my original template. So I can do a couple things. Probably the easiest is to double click again and to go into my reaction dialog box, and I can highlight text. And I can basically make my text height of my &1 to be smaller. So I'll make it from 1 inch, I'll bring it down to 0.7 inches, and then I'll continue. And then you see that all of my names do fit into the box template that I set up. So there is &1 with just names with a single field of data. I can also merge more than one field of data or one type of data by changing my &1 to be &1 and then &2. And again, the way I set up my original text is the way it's going to repeat out. So if I have Helvetica Medium, it's going to repeat out as Helvetica Medium. But if I want to change that to be something different, such as times bold, I can change my second field of data and it will repeat out as times bold. So once again, I've had my &1 and &2. I select all, go into Tools, and Repeats Merge. And I'll set my repeats again to be 3 and 3, so I'll have 9 fields of data. This time I'm going to go into Text Merge, and I'm going to select a different file. And I have first names and numbers. And if I want to edit that file, just to show what's in here, first names and numbers. Now because I have &1 and &2, I have names and numbers, I put a 2 at the top. And then in the TXT file, you just have to alternate the name and the number, the name and the number, the name and the number, the name and the number. Just go all the way down through your data, name, number, with the appropriate data. If you skip a line, it will see that blank line as either a name or a number, and then your data will get out of synchronization. So you want to make sure that you're very careful about just having the data in the proper locations. Name, number, all the way down. So there it is. I have my data, name, number 2 at the top, and I have, let's see, 3 and 3, 9 total repeats. Click on OK. And there we go once again. My numbers are too long, so once again I can double click, go into my text, and for my &2 I'm going to make that to be 0.7 inches. Let me see if that's small enough. Okay, it's very close. I can go and maybe give myself even a little more breathing room. So I'll go to &2, change that to be 0.6. And now you see that I have plenty of room for my names and my numbers. I'm going to go and make &1 to be 0.7 again as I show more data here. So I'll go F2, make it 0.7. There we go. So now I have enough room for my names and my numbers, and now I'll go in one more time just into Repeats Merge, and I'll increase the number of repeats that I have. Once again, I have, I think, 31 fields of data. Let me check. Oh, this shows that I have 128. I must have increased it in that second data file. So I can even increase this even further. So my total copies, I'll bring it up to 60. And it's going to go through name, number through the first 60 out of the 128. And that's all my data merged together. Helvetica Medium and times Roman, times bold. You can also do Autotext, which will automatically increment numbers as opposed to data that's in a TXT file. And to create Autotext, it's a similar concept, but instead of &1, you do the pound sign and the number 1. And pound number 1 is going to tell Repeats Merge that you want to increment a number. So I'm going to F2 to select all, Shift F9 for justify, make sure I'm centered, and then once again I will go into Tools, Repeats Merge, and I'll set my X repeats to be whatever number, and my Y repeats again, I'll set it to 3, again due to the size of my 15-inch plotter. Now instead of going into the text merge tab, I'll go into the auto number tab. And in here you can set certain parameters such as a starting value, an increment value, and whether you want leading characters. So I'll say, no, I don't want leading characters. And I'll say I want my starting value to be 1 and my increment value to be 2. So it's going to give me 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, only odd numbers. And let's go back to repeats. So I have a total of 27 repeats, 3 up, 9 across. And there you see my numbers are incremented out nice and quickly. Another nice thing is, this is for Autotext or Autonumber, is that if you put text before the &1 or before the #1 or after the &1 or #1, then that text will remain static and unchanged. So if you have, like for example, serial numbers, and you need something in front of the serial number, ABD, and then I have my #1, and at the end I need it to be XYZ, so it's going to give me in all of my repeats ABD, a number that's incremented, and then XYZ. And I'm going to have to make this a little bit smaller since I added all that text. So I'll make this to be 0.6. And I'll go F11 Composer. And now you see I have the ABD 13579 with the XYZ afterwards on the end.